There is nothing more frustrating than parents losing their children to peer pressure, drug and alcohol addiction, indiscipline, criminal behavior, or the inability of the children to continue the legacy of their parents. Whether it is due to simple parenting mistakes or a bad neighborhood, it affects all.
Because a broken family leads to a broken community. A broken community leads to a broken nation, but there is no regard for cultural and moral value or the rule of law. So now is the time to have the right conversations and take the needed action that will shape the future of our families and our country. Join the ELI Zarzar Show, brought to you by Tama TV on Cyclone Channel 2 and 6 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the growth and development of families. The ELI Zarzar Show, motivation, family, and relationship. Welcome to the ELI Zarzar Show. We are African, and that was make us unique. Nobody got to tell you that we are African. So we take this African proverb. A family tie is like a tree. It bends, but it cannot break. That is to tell you, when you're my brother, you are my brother. I cannot take away the DNA. So we must stand by each other to make sure that we hold together so that our family can be strong. If you have it at the back of your mind that your family ties cannot break, you're going to work towards it to not even allow it to bend. We are one people. I'll take this break and be right back.
There is nothing more frustrating than parents losing their children to peer pressure, drug and alcohol addiction, indiscipline, criminal behavior, or the inability of the children to continue the legacy of their parents. Whether it is due to simple parenting mistakes or a bad neighborhood, it affects all.
Because a broken family leads to a broken community. A broken community leads to a broken nation, but there is no regard for cultural and moral value or the rule of law. So now is the time to have the right conversations and take the needed action that will shape the future of our families and our country. Join the ELI Zarzar Show, brought to you by Tama TV on Cyclone Channel 2 and 6 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the growth and development of families. The ELI Zarzar Show, motivation, family, and relationship. Good evening, and welcome to the ELI Zarzar Show. The ELI Zarzar Show is that show set aside away from politics, entertainment, and maybe business to talk about family issue. You know, family is the basic building block of our society. It's that social institution that produces the workforce, the characters that uphold our society. So if the family is not functioning properly, obviously there will be a lot of problems. There will continue to be problems. We have corrupt people. We have people with bad behaviors. We have people who are involved into all kinds of things that are causing problems for our society. Is because the family somehow made a mistake somewhere along the way. The fabric of our society crumbled during the 14-year Civil War. And of course, the ELI Zarzar Show streams live on Tama TV on Cyclone Channel 2 and 6 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. You people always giving the reason to be here every Sunday, and I'm grateful. The entire management of Tama TV is grateful for the fact that we have people like you. Before we go for the break, I told you we'll be telling you what we'll be talking about today and go into our discussion. Today we want to talk about providing the essence, right? The importance of providing value and behavioral-based support to your parents and to your spouses. But we want to take it more from the angle of children to their parents. Yeah. So today we'll talk about it in the context of, children supporting their parents from the very early age and the importance of providing behavioral-based support. Now, this is a form of support a lot of people, are not familiar with. Not familiar with it. We have Somebody will say financial support, you hear about moral support, and we don't hear about behavioral support too often. You see, a value-based and behavioral-based support basically are those kind of support that, parents, children, spouses provide to their others, that significant other or their loved ones or their parents. The attitude that you exhibit to support the person that you claim to love. You understand? The attitude that you claim, a part of attitude that will support the person that you claim to love. Today, we see a lot of children not giving their children, let's say their parents, behavioral based support. A lot of spouses, men and women do not give their let's say their wives and husbands the behavioral based support. Your husband is a journalist, he goes to work, and he have to go to you meet up with a lot of people, go out there, find news and all of that, and you don't show that attitude as though you support the things that he does. And you see, it is very bad, because like from wife to husband, or from husband to wife, to the point that, for example, we love the fact that our husband is supporting the home, but we hate the things that he does that bring money to the home. We complain about it. Your attitude towards that person should show that you love the things that the person is doing. You understand? Your attitude should show that you love the things the person is doing. It's just like you say, I'm not against you going to go play football. I'm not, as a child, I'm not against you going to go play football. But if a child goes to play football, as soon as the child comes home, you start flogging it. I'm not against you doing music. You can do your music, but by the time the child goes to, the man goes, or the woman goes for music business and come back, you tie your face, you fry your face. Some of you, your wives are involved in the sports. The woman is involved in the sports. You saw her like that, and you admire her. The woman go to her football practices and things and come back, you vex. The woman is in the church. She goes to church, choir practices. She's maybe in the music department, or she's in the prayer group or something. You say you love the woman, but when the woman goes to church and come back, you vex. She go to choir practice, you complain. Your husband goes to work, probably he's a videographer, or he's a journalist, or he's a yarn boy down Broad Street or something. The person go do the thing that they love. And then your attitude towards that particular thing turn them off. Okay, but this, I want to play a special emphasis, on children providing value-based and behavioral-based support to their parents. The place your father working, what kind of job your father does, it doesn't even concern you. Your father is a pastor. Your attitude alone hinders your father's ministry as a pastor. Your father is a reputable, statesman of the country, so people respect him. But by the time people see you, they discredit your father because your behavior is just so out of the way. We will have the same mindset. That will mean if I'm a Muslim and I have to go through my fast month, you understand? And my wife is also a Muslim, of course, she will be able to prepare whatever food we're supposed to have in the morning before our prayer time starts. I'm trying to bring your mind back to that place, how it affects our parents. Let me tell you, the things that we do as children affects our parents greatly. The things that we do affect our parents greatly. So you need to provide behavioral and value-based support to your parents. You need to provide behavioral and value-based support to your spouse and to the people that you claim that you love. One example we always see and hear in our communities is when a child misbehaves, who does that reflect? It reflects a parent. That's why people will always say, especially you see people, prominent people in the community, prominent people in the country, their children. If your father is a high profile figure, if your mother is a high profile figure, the way you can support them, the way you can support their career, the way you can support their dream, the way you can support their happiness is to behave orderly. Is to behave aligned. Let your behavior align with their behavior. If you went outside your home and did something, let that reflect positively on your parents. But today, you hear people saying, "Oh, they want to be west side of the pastor cheering." We always hear that. I know people can say, "You born a child, you're not born a heart." But let me tell you, as a child to your parents, right now, I don't care how old you are, but if your parents are still alive and they're still moving and they have their life and they have their goals, you need to, the best way you can support them is to provide them value-based and value and behavior-based support. You expect that your elder brother or your elder sister to have nanny for that child. The person is sponsoring in school, they catering for you, but at the end of the day, you don't even care to even cater for the things that they love. I tell people there are ways to love people. So I've outlined few ways that you can provide behavioral based and value based support to your parents, especially for you who your parents are prominent citizens. Number one way you can do it is to understand the value, understand their values. You say, "Well, communicate. Take time as a child. Take time to talk with your parents and ask them, or your spouse, ask them what is that one thing that is important to them? What is that thing that they take dear to their heart?" Some of us, we don't even know our parents like that. You don't know your spouse like that. I remember there was a time my wife we went out to a place and she asked me a very simple question that needed a lot of thought. You need to ask them. Somebody was saying, one time it's been long ago, and I encountered this person, and somebody said, "There is someone for everyone, and you cannot be good for everyone." And what the person was trying to say was, if say that you cannot handle plenty people, your spouse mingling with a lot of people, don't get married to a celebrity. But you cannot, you look at your side, you open your app, or you jump in a relationship with a celebrity, then you say they should not spend time with people, they should not be hanging out, they should just be grounded 24/7 with you, and you should they need to network, they need to market themselves. Then you invest. So, number one, communicate. Sit down and ask your parent as a child, what is that thing that when I do that will break your heart as a father? What is that one thing when I do that will hurt you, that you will not be proud of? What is that thing that when I do that will make you very proud of me? Sometimes I was talking to somebody once and I said, you see, the issue of love language is a problem in many home and many relationship. Now, we all know language is the means of communicating, the means of what? Transferring message from one person to the other. So, for example, if I cannot speak French and you are speaking French to me, thinking that you want me to understand, you are wasting your words, but I will not understand because I'm a cry man who speak English as a second language, cry my first language. I should tell you that today. You understand? So if you speak anything other than that, you are not talking to me. Some of us are like that. You have to understand what your parents, your spouse hold dear to them at the end of the day so that you can love them in that direction. But sometimes, all the things you do, your mom don't even care about it. Because if your mom is a very disciplined person, is a person who believes in sanity and moral uprightness, moral status, then you behave all kinds of way. You maybe probably turn out to be some kind of wayward person. You think when you bring them money, they will like it? They will not like it. Because that's not their love language. So love somebody according to the language. So communicate. Ask the person, what is that thing? What are those things that you take dear to your heart? The next thing is observation. Pay attention and get to know the things that they value, that they prioritize in their daily life. Your father is a pastor. He likes to go to church. He likes to read his Bible. He likes to study and make sure that he's prepared. He likes to be decent. He likes to, pay attention so that you can follow. If you are doing those things in alignment with him, a heart becomes pleased with you. Then you become a person in whom he is well pleased. So the first thing we say, communicate, ask. What are those things that you value? Secondly, we say what? Observe. Pay attention. Pay attention. For example, if your mom, when she comes home, she likes to see the chair, the chair cover is there neat, they place the spoons and everything, the house, she likes to position in a certain type of way. Observe it. Okay, let's take for example, your husband is an electrician, a who worked at current business. When last did you even take your money and go buy him meter, a tester, and say, oh, that's a gift for him? You don't have to be an electrician. Your husband is a journalist. When last did you buy him a gift that aligns with the work that he does? Pay attention. Let me tell you, the way you can know the food that a person likes to eat, their favorite perfume, their clothes and things, is when you pay attention to them. If you pay attention to your spouse, the day something changed about them, you get to know exactly. Some of us don't pay attention to the extent that you leave your house for hours, for days. If you get back home, if your woman applied new hair, you don't even know. Your husband leave the house, he now go to the barber shop, he cut his hair neat. He comes to you, don't even know, so your man not cut his hair. So we say pay attention. So under the first thing, we say understanding their values. We say well, communicate with them and pay attention. So we will take a very short break. And then when we come back, we'll go through the rest of the points here, bit by bit. We don't want to bore you. We want you to come along. Be with us as we go through this discussion here this evening. So be with us. Let's take this short break and be right back.
There is nothing more frustrating than parents losing their children to peer pressure, drug and alcohol addiction, indiscipline, criminal behavior, or the inability of the children to continue the legacy of their parents. Whether it is due to simple parenting mistakes or a bad neighborhood, it affects all.
Because a broken family leads to a broken community. A broken community leads to a broken nation, but there is no regard for cultural and moral value or the rule of law. So now is the time to have the right conversations and take the needed action that will shape the future of our families and our country. Join the ELI Zarzar Show, brought to you by Tama TV on Cyclone Channel 2 and 6 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the growth and development of families. The ELI Zarzar Show, motivation, family, and relationship. Welcome back to the ELI Zarzar Show. If you're just joining us, you are watching the ELI Zarzar Show, and the ELI Zarzar Show, our family show that airs on Tama TV on Cyclone Channel 2 and 6 every Sunday, is about family development. And if you've been there, we'd like to say thanks for being there and stay with us. We are talking about the benefit of providing behavioral and value-based support to your parents, your spouses, and those that you love, that you care about. And then Before we went for the break, we'll talk about understanding their value. That is to say, communicate with them and get to know their values. And we say pay attention. If you pay attention to somebody, if you observe them keenly, you will know the things. How you know people, for example, there are celebrities, like footballers, musicians. We have not lived with them in the same house, but we watch their contents. We see them. So you know the person's favorite hairstyle, you know their lifestyle. It's because you pay attention. So pay that same attention. Some of you, to the extent you go to the extent of naming yourself after that footballer, that celebrity, and you know that musician, because you pay attention to them. So you start acting. Sometimes you start dressing like them. Some people right now, you go ask some people, they need Davido. Some people need whiskey. As a young man, you need to whiskey, Davido, this, that. You dress like him, you act like him, but you cannot act like your father. So observe, pay attention, then you will understand. The next thing we say, respect and honoring traditions. Let me tell you, all the things we own here, the white man's culture. I don't want to say white so that it can sound like I'm being racist. But the cultures outside our borders are not ours. I see some people, when their parents are speaking dialect, then they can say, "Yo, Prince in the Hoyo, what are you talking so? What are you speaking?" You are making fool of yourself if you indulge in that kind of habit. We say, respect and honor the traditions of your parents, especially those ones that are positive. Most of our traditions are positive. It's just one or two about them. It's just the same thing with our, the other cultures that we adapt. So we say honor, participate in family rituals. When your father care about people, when your father tradition, in a tradition, they care about people a lot. When somebody is bereaved, they go there. When somebody is sick, they go and sympathize with them. Go and speak to them. Adapt that thing also. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you unique. Let me tell you, they're one of the group of people in Liberia that I respect when it comes to that. Are those kind of people who continuously speak their dialect in their home and outside their home, especially at home. So if you find the Mandingos together, I wish I could speak it, and you will enjoy that. So if you do that, if you start to honor the traditions and you start respecting and honoring the tradition of your father, you are loving him. You need to honor and respect them. Your spouse, honor and respect the tradition of your spouse. That's how you support them. When your spouse tradition calls for people gathering at your house at certain time of the month, certain time of the year. Doesn't mean I'm here for that, I don't let plenty of people, some of the former people and waste in the house here and I get time for it. By the time you do that, they make things. And it's not anything. And it becomes glaring that you're not in love with this person or you're not supporting him. Sometimes you don't have to like it. What happens is you have to adjust. You have to adjust. So honoring and respecting basically doesn't mean that doing things that you like, doing it because you like it. You're doing it because it gives someone else's, it gives someone else the joy. That's why you're doing it. And not because that it affects you, but it affects the other person positively. So another thing you can do to support your spouse, to support your parents, to support the people that you love and care about, through your behavior and values, is adopting positive behavior, living by shared principles. Amen. Your father have a standard at home. You need to adapt that same principle. That way, you are supporting him, or you are supporting your mother, or you are supporting your husband or your wife. Adopt positive behavior, living shared principles. If your father says that nobody comes to the house here after 9, make it your responsibility to be able to work within the confines of the time set. Whenever you do it, it feels good. When you go against that, it feels like you are being dishonest, you're dishonoring him, you're being disrespectful to him. Therefore, it takes away. Because the responsibility of your father is to make sure that you are protected. If your partner led dirty horse, your mother led dirty house, please try to be clean, you yourself. Because this is the problem for a lot of children, especially May teens. We don't like to, or early teens, we don't like to do anything. We just want to be in our own space by ourselves. You know very well that your mom doesn't like to see the house dirty. In order for you to be able to please them by cleaning the house, you don't do it. If your parent love clean home, if you're cleaning the house, you are providing support to them. That is to say, when they go outside, they will not have to worry about whether their home is in order. For some of you, as soon as your parents leave their house, they be thinking, hey, God, I'm going to meet my whole outside dying into this. And I like the African parents, that how they get advice, or they say, I go, when I come back, the whole home will be chakla, yeah, the dish will be so, your slipper, your clothes, and things will be so. Don't pack anything. Let me go and come back. But what they mean is be able to do it right. If your father is somebody who doesn't like to drink, please abstain from it. In fact, no parent really wants their child to indulge in that thing, especially out of balance. Be able to support them by living a healthy lifestyle. Another thing is, point number 4, we say what? Supporting their goals. Hey! And this is where children, husband, wives have problems. We say what? Supporting their goals. There are ways you can provide value-based and behavioral-based support to your parents. Is when you support. Who tell you say you can support your parent goal? Some of you, your father has taken you to a point where, and he's a bachelor's holder. He wants to go abroad and study for his master's. The father is a pastor, but when you open your mouth, as soon as you everybody looking for a place to hide. That undermines the goal of your father. The goal of your father, probably your father is working on a business. You understand? Your father running a business, like he led business that he managing for, so that the business can grow bigger for you, the children. But are you stealing your father money? Your papa money now before you come by a loss. You keep money in the house. You can't even know who take it. It's now loss. If you are doing that, you undermine his goal of prosperity, especially for his business. When you do that, you undermine his goals. Somebody was sharing a story with me. The man said he is studying, he's doing his higher studies. His computer that contains his license plane, and everything. His daughter stole the computer and sold it. Your pa get his research work in the computer and everything there. Boop. The lady stole the computer and sold it. You know that? We know what he has done. What she has done? She undermined his goal. That is to say, she put him steps back. Sometimes your parents, the money they keep in the house, they're not for you. Probably they're saving it to buy a land, to build a house for the family. You go, you collect that money from them, you steal it, you and your friends just go mismanage it. When you do that, you undermine them, and you sometimes lead your parents to their early grave. Some of you, your spouses, you undermine your spouse's goal. Support their goals. Know exactly what is your husband, your wife, what's their goal. For your husband trying to be a very good businessman, and you the wasteful human being. You can spend money anyhow. Your woman striving, she making a little business to support. But you credit all the woman money, you're not pay. Provide that situation, that environment where your husband can go to school and learn, and you not be a problem for him. Provide that situation where your wife can be able to go to school and learn without you being a nuisance in her life. I remember a situation where this lady went to school. She's a professional registered nurse, but the husband said she might not work. And not like he paying her allowances because he doesn't want her to to go mingle with a lot of people. The doctors, he got perception about the doctors and the other nurses, so the woman should not go to go work. So because of that, he say the woman, he opened shop for the woman to sit down inside. That's not what she wants to do. She decided she want to be a nurse. That's what she decided. She learned, and she want to excel, probably even beyond being a nurse, to be a doctor. But he says to even function as a nurse, you say no. So how is she even going to make her way to go beyond that? You put a woman in shop, but she never want to be a nurse. You kill their dream. Encourage them. Ask them. Always be with them. I remember I hosted somebody on this show, Madam Seattle Scott Johnson, and one thing she said, oh, she and her husband were in college together, and they started having children, especially when they had their two children. Two of them couldn't go to school and keep up with the kids at some point, so her husband had to take a little break to be taking care of the children at home while the wife go to school. And then at some point he joined her when the kids were okay to look after themselves at a certain level. So we will take this break, and then when we come back, we continue with more of what we got. A lot of things in the package here for you this evening. So tell somebody that the ELI Zarzar show is on. Stay right there. Don't go away.
There is nothing more frustrating than parents losing their children to peer pressure, drug and alcohol addiction, indiscipline, criminal behavior, or the inability of the children to continue the legacy of their parents. Whether it is due to simple parenting mistakes or a bad neighborhood, it affects all.
Because a broken family leads to a broken community. A broken community leads to a broken nation, but there is no regard for cultural and moral value or the rule of law. So now is the time to have the right conversations and take the needed action that will shape the future of our families and our country. Join the ELI Zarzar Show, brought to you by Tama TV on Cyclone Channel 2 and 6 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the growth and development of families. The ELI Zarzar Show, motivation, family, and relationships. Okay, welcome back from that very short break, and we'd like to say thank you for always being there. Again, like we said on previous episodes, if you want to be a sponsor of the ELI Zarzar Show, our doors are open. The numbers are on the screen. Call these numbers and you have a very huge benefit. You know, if you're a business person, you got products and services to advertise, come on. You have the television and our social media platforms at your advantage, and sell out. Spend some money and make more money with the ELI Zarzar Show. You know, we've been talking about providing value-based and behavior-based support, the importance of providing that support. So we talk about it in the context of understanding the value of your parents, and or your spouse or your loved ones. We say respecting and honoring their traditions. We say adopting positive habits. And now when we talk about, before we went for the break, we say supporting their goals. So if you claim to love your father, if you claim to love your parents, you want to support their goals. You don't want to do things that undermines their goals. So like we said previously, when you communicate with them and ask them what they value most, you will also get to understand those things that they're working towards and those things that are important to them. Then of course you will be a help. Sometimes spouses need to normalize the habit of asking their spouses from the beginning of the relationship, the genesis of the relationship, and say, what are your goals? What are you up to? What are those things that you're involved with? What are those things? How can I be a help? If you're asking this question as a husband or as a potential husband, as a potential spouse, then you that's a way you can love them. Because there are people today, they are together, their husband working on something that they don't even know about. Their wife working on things that they're not even involved with. And then when the person becomes successful, you want to share in that glory. Come on. That's not going to be good. So the next thing we say was demonstrating loyalty. Demonstrate loyalty to your parents. Let me tell you, anything other than loyalty is being rebellious. If you choose to not be loyal to your parents, then you are a rebel. So stop displaying rebel behavior in your parents' house, in the relationship with your spouses. And be loyal. We all know that loyalty goes a long way. I was fortunate to sit into honor a teaching of a veteran speaker recently, and then he said God values, one of the things that God values is loyalty. The reason why today we have Satan and the whole Satan and this and God business is because of disloyalty. When Lucifer went against God, he was never loyal to him anymore. They have split. We all know how countries fall apart because somebody is not loyal. So be loyal to your parents. If this is A, tell them this is A. If you do things, admit them. It helps your parents. For example, there are some people that put your parents into serious trouble because they're not loyal. Amen. Your mom, she in a community club. She in a saving club. That how can keep the people money. She carry the people money who now you jump inside it. She asks you, nobody know. And all of us we've been children. We grew up in a home when something happened, nobody knew. So now you feel like Gina can come from Osa. That's how we call it, right? Gina will come from outside and carry the thing or the money out of the house. Nobody know what happened. So please try to be loyal and be loyal to your spouses, because when you are not, it takes away a lot of things from them. And then we say respecting their belief. Hey, this is the problem a lot of people have. We think if we don't believe in the same thing that you believe in, that means whatever you believe in, it doesn't make sense. The best way, or one of those ways that you can support somebody, is respecting their beliefs. Now listen, there's a difference between taking something or doing something and respecting it. If you and this man believe that, okay, this religion, this denomination is what I am part of, respect that. Don't judge them. Don't question their faith and all of that. Respect that. Now, respecting beliefs, out of respecting belief comes tolerance. But some of us feel that anybody who is worshiping outside our religion doesn't make sense. So some Christians feel that they're better than the Muslims. Some Muslims feel that they're better than the Christians. Some Christians feel that, some people feel that they are better than the traditional people. The traditional people feel like the way they're worshiping They've been worshiping before Christianity came. They are better than the Christians and the Muslims. No. If you claim to love somebody, respect their beliefs. If you can't do that, then it's better you walk away from their life. You understand? But in the context of your father, from a parent, let's say from a child to their parents, you need to respect the belief of your parents. If you reach to a place and you feel like whatever they're practicing doesn't work for you, you can honestly still respect their belief. Give them religious and spiritual support. If your parent or spouse have strong religious or spiritual belief, show respect for these, by participating or supporting their practices, can be very meaningful. Your father is a pastor. I keep stressing on that. Your father is a businessman. Your father is, a celebrity. It's something very meaningful that people respect. If they are doing things and you don't believe it or you don't respect their belief, you tend to criticize them. And nobody feels fun when their beliefs are criticized. Your father goes to church, your mom goes to church, and they pray, and when you be there, you're criticizing that belief. Oh, they go to the church because you're falling in the spirit. No. So dress, act, talk, live, and behave in accordance with what your parents believe if you want to support them. That way, it makes their life so easy. And what? Be open-minded. Let me tell you, a lot of these places where you can find people having religious war or political clashes is people who don't want to be open-minded with political ideologies. Let me tell you, who tell you say you cannot be from party A and your wife be from party B and you coexist? Of course. Of course. If your father is a sedition and you choose to support Unity Party, respect the fact that your father isn't, and don't be very rude about that. To talk down on his beliefs. So we say, well, be open-minded. Even if you don't share all of their beliefs, being open-minded and respecting, things in their perspective makes it easy and it becomes very meaningful. Be able to be open-minded. When you say, but you're not going to church, if your wife is going to church, adjust to it. If you can't, it is better that you walk away in order for things to go well than for you to be there and be giving them the kind of attitude that won't work for them. If they're involved with this particular business and believe that it's going to work, it's going to be profitable, be able to be open-minded about it and know that, listen, even though I don't believe this, but I respect the fact that you believe it. So I leave you to it, and that will be fair enough. Another way that we can provide behavioral and value-based support is showing appreciation. Some of you, especially children, your parents pay your school fees all year round. They put food on the table all year round. They put clothes on your back all year round. When was the last time you ever sat your father down? Well, I'm not talking about his birthday or her birthday, and just tell them thank you. Or you complain. All you do is complain. All you do is complain. So when you complain about the things, your parents are doing instead of appreciating them, it takes away a lot. So if your father goes to work every day, your mom go to work every day to make sure that you have food on your table, you have shelter over your head, you have clothes on your back, then you need to be appreciated. Appreciate them. That way, they know that their children believe in the things that they're doing. Their children love them. So they are being appreciative of the fact that they do those little things. Because let me tell you, there are things that your parents are struggling to give you that some parents have in abundance. They don't even give it to their children. Some of you, you're sleeping in a very decent home, eating very decent food and on time. Some children don't have the privilege like you have. The reason why you are able to watch this television, this program tonight or this evening is because you have a television in your home that some children don't have. The reason you were able to watch this episode on the internet is because you have an internet phone that some children, some people don't have. So that alone should be able to give. So the best way you can support your parent is to be appreciative. Tell them when they pay your school fees, tell them thank you. Especially, people can say, no, the law, you're not supposed to, when the person is 18 and above, or they're above 20, and so they are adults. So by right, there are certain things, especially when you cross 18, your parents are not supposed to be doing for you, but they still do them because they know they brought you to this earth and your responsibility, your well-being is their responsibility. So they do them. I appreciate them. When they give you food, say thank you. They give you clothes, say thank you. When they give you house, say thank you. In fact, they spend their time talking to you, say thank you. Say thank you and be appreciated. Some of you, your husbands will leave the home and go hustle to win, somebody will say win bread because they're breadwinner. But honestly, your parents, your spouses will go out there to work hard to put food on the table, to work for the welfare and the well-being of the family. And some of you don't tend to appreciate that. You only care about your ego. Your wife has to go to that business center or her office and work 24/7. And when she comes back, you start with talking. Hey, say you're coming today. You saying work over since 5 o'clock. Or you look at the time, you just coming back. Some of you try to treat your spouses as though they are your children. Hey, look how you wash your clothes. The clothes not even clean. Everything jack. You don't even care. You're just ranting. You don't even take time out to appreciate them for the things that they do. Because sometimes some of those things that you take for granted, some of those things that are available to you in your relationship, is not available to other people in their relationship. So if you have that man, that woman, that father, that mother that is making the effort to make sure that you have the things that you have always, be able to support them by appreciating them. Another thing is role modeling. Set a good example. If your parents or spouse value certain behaviors such as kindness, generosity, or responsibility, strive to model these behaviors. So you see, if your parents are good people, if your parents know how they like to talk to people nicely, if your parents don't like for people to feel bad, model that same behavior. If your parents are good people, model the same behavior. If your parents are people who believe in decent dressing, we say model the same behavior. If your father believes that it is not good to spend loosely, to just be about the place, then you need to model that behavior. That's why I tag this as what? Role modeling. Because the way that you can be the son, a good son or a good daughter to your father, to your parents, is when you model that behavior. Sometimes it is good when when you act certain, especially when your father is a very reputable person, and you act exactly in the same, in the same form and manner, you will be like, that means something for true. That woman daughter for true. Sometimes it happens on a negative, scale. For example, your mom is that one person in the neighborhood who talks down everybody. She's very disrespectful. She can talk to anybody anyhow. By the time you open your mouth, say, "Yeah, that mommy and daughter here for true. Sorry if your name mommy." But you understand? That child here for true. And it become bad. And that's not what I'm talking about. But the good behavior of your parents. Let me tell you, your father is an imam, your father is a pastor, your father is a reputable educator, your father is a community leader, your father is a national leader. I am not saying go and be the same exact thing, but model that behavior. Because if your behavior is not in alignment with his, sometimes it makes them want to question if you're actually a child. Sometimes there are things, if your father is an easygoing person, if your father is a very respectful person, if you behave in a certain type of way, it makes people question your identity to your father. And they say, you sure that means something for truth? Because they would mean acting, and not how you parking at, not how you marking at. So if you will support your parents, you need to model their behavior. You need to do the things that they do that make people respect them. Your father takes on certain character that makes people respect him. So in order to support him, in order to take on or to receive that same amount of respect or the same kind of respect or form of respect, you need to be able to model that behavior. That's the only way. For some of you, the attitudes that you possess are very, very opposite to that of your parents. It makes them feel very bad. It makes them feel very bad from time to time. And the last but not the least, we say, wow, balancing autonomy and support. Balancing autonomy and support. On nowadays, we say respect boundaries. Now, while supporting their values also ensure you maintain a balance that allows for mutual respect and autonomy in the relationship. So, while you are supporting your spouse, your parents, you want to observe boundaries that allows room for better environment for respect and productivity. If your father say this, you are not allowed to do this, respect that boundary. If your father have his principles, his standards in the home, respect it. If your husband say, I can take this and I can't take this, respect this. Listen to me. I got one policy in my home that you must obey. If you think you love me, I don't drink and I don't hate the people that drink because they have their reasons and I have different reasons why I don't drink. So I said, you take alcohol in my house. Alcohol cannot go in my house. That is my principle. So if you think you love me, you want to keep those principles, especially in my house, in my home. So if my wife, I'm not telling, because the thing is, You don't, especially when it comes to spousal relationship, you don't get into a relationship to change a person. No, that's not what you do. So I don't try to control you or change you, but I tell you the things I don't think. So you adjust yourself, or we adjust in a way that, okay, so here's the middle line. If you're my spouse and you can drink, you can have it all out as you want. But in my house, you cannot bring it to my house. You cannot store it there because I don't want my kids to come in contact with it. And I have to be struggling to explain to them why it is good for me as a father to drink and get drunk, but it's not good for my son or my daughter to drink and get drunk. So to call that short, I put an end. I have a strict rule against that. So if my wife, my spouse, or my loved one needs to understand that this is what I stand by. So when you want to support me by value-based and behavioral-based support, you need to also know that these are the standards. Mutual decision making. And this one is basically with spouses. If you're taking a certain decision on behalf of the family, not because Uncle John, not because you are the head of the home, so you think that you can just decide whatever to do. If you're making a decision, make the decision bearing the other person in mind, so that you can be able to know that whatever that comes out of the decision affects that person. So when you are making the decision, bear the person in mind. So have a mutual decision making. You understand? Have a mutual decision making to the point that you are in sync. Engage in decision making together, respecting each other's values and findings. So we say what? Mutual decision making. Mutual decision making. The same thing with children to their parents. If you are taking certain life decisions, especially when you are under the roof of your parents, or you are solely connected to them in certain type of way, you need to be able to align and act. Sometimes you, if possible, if necessary, make that consultation. Because especially if what you are about to do will affect the image of your parents or your family positively or negatively. So these are the things we have to talk about here today. These are the things we have to talk about here today. If you're just joining the ELI Zarzar show, we've been here talking about the importance of providing providing value-based support, behavior and value-based support to your parents, to your spouses, and the people that you care about. So in talking about that, we went ahead and talked about understanding their values. We also talked about respecting and honoring their traditions. We said adopting positive behaviors, and we say while supporting their goals. We say while demonstrating loyalty, and of course demonstrating, respecting their beliefs, showing appreciation, modeling or role modeling, and then we say while balancing autonomy and support. The basic thing we want you to take home from today's episode is for you to be able to understand the way you act in alignment with your spouse and your parents is a greater form of support. So they don't only need your morals, or let's say they don't only need your financial support, your spiritual support, or your physical support. They need that value or behavioral-based support. Let the things that you do as a child be in alignment with what your parents believe in, towards the goals that they're working towards their overall lifestyle. Because mind you, whenever you do something, the first question people can ask, man, I'm training you good, or your parents not training you good, which seems like an insult to you and your parents. So when people will question your credibility of your parents because of your attitude, that alone is supposed to tell you that whatever you do, however you dress, however you talk, however you live, however, and places that you go, things that you do reflects on or spill over to your parents. So ways that you can support your parents as a child, since you are not responsible yet to provide them finances and all of that, which is, sometimes you're not really, really on an obligation to support your parents financially. It's not a binding obligation, but as a child, you need to be able to support them in that mind. If you claim that you love them, support them by your attitude. You should not be a pastor's son. Then people question whether you are actually a pastor's son because of your behavior. Then people put mouth on your parents because of your attitude. People shouldn't insult your parents because of the way that you behave outside. So we say thanks for always joining us on the ELI Zarzar Show live on Tarmac TV on Second Channel 2 and 6. Every Sunday, you mean a lot to us. The reason why we are here is because you are on the other side of the screen, always waiting to hear and have this family discussion with us. The ELI Zarzar Show is here always for you from 6 to 7 p.m. We say invite somebody the next time. We have another great episode ahead with a lot of things packaged for you. If you are interested in doing business with us, of course, our doors are open. We're in search of sponsors and partners that will keep this program afloat. And what you stand to benefit is, visibility and advertisement of your services and products. So the numbers are on your screen. You call these numbers, and of course, we advertise your product. We do your promos and jingles. When our programs are on, you get to see information about your business and services, scrolling, and plus many more things we will talk about you here on the program and elsewhere on the social media and all over the place because we are your partners. So hit us up today and let's do business. And that's how I would like to go home on today's edition of the ELI Zarzar Show, talking about the importance of providing value and behavioral-based support. I've been Eli Plady Zarzar, your regular presenter and host. Have a God bless Sunday evening, and I see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.
There is nothing more frustrating than parents losing their children to peer pressure, drug and alcohol addiction, indiscipline, criminal behavior, or the inability of the children to continue the legacy of their parents. Whether it is due to simple parenting mistakes or a bad neighborhood, it affects all.
Because a broken family leads to a broken community. A broken community leads to a broken nation, but there is no regard for cultural and moral value or the rule of law. So now is the time to have the right conversations and take the needed action that will shape the future of our families and our country. Join the ELI Zarzar Show, brought to you by Tarmac TV on Second Channel 2 and 6 every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the growth and development of families. The ELI Zarzar Show, motivation, family, and relations.